Hello seniors, today is day 2 for Unit 2. We're going to do a bit of review and then do an activity working with economic goals. For the do now, it's a review of Chapter 3.2 with the economic questions and then working with the economic goals. I've put all the handouts and answer keys for the do now and the activities that we do today on Schoology, so you can access everything that you need there. Our big question for today, why do politicians disagree on economic issues? Isn't there one right answer? We can think of any economic issue from minimum wage to universal health care and how there's different viewpoints. Why is that and how do we come to a consensus? And so our goals for today are to name and explain the 6 economic goals or values of an economy and then identify trade-offs among those goals when presented with a specific economic policy. This ties into our content standard on economic systems that we'll be working with this week and next week. And then we also have key terms. I have handed out the next key terms list, and it's available on Schoology as well. And these are the terms for today, basically the 6 economic goals, and know that we have a quiz coming up on Monday. All right, to see the big picture of where we're going with all of this, we took a look at some different countries. We can identify the United States. This is a Native American tribe, North Korea, and Mexico. And our big question is, what do they all have in common? No matter what country you are, they all have to answer the 3 basic economic questions: what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce those goods and services. And to put this in the context of of our previous learning, we've learned about scarcity and how scarcity is produced, and the choices that it requires us to make. And scarcity forces you and I to make choices. It also requires nations to make choices. And you and I make choices, that's microeconomics, and nations making choices would be macroeconomics. And this is what we're focusing on here when we talk about economic systems. It would be macroeconomics. And so these choices that countries must make, they must decide what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. And those are the 3 basic economic questions. And how a country answers those questions determines its economic systems. So whether it's the United States or North Korea, they all must answer these questions, but they do so in a slightly different way. And an economic system is simply a society's way of coordinating the production and consumption of goods and services. And we can think of production as being what to produce and how to produce, and consumption being for whom to produce, who's going to get it. And so that brings us to our economic goals and values. And within each economic system, we're always going to focus on or prioritize 1 or 2 goals. That means we have to have trade-offs. We have to sacrifice or give up on a couple of other goals. And these are the 4 systems that we'll be looking at. And we have to see how are these goals prioritized and sacrificed within these different economic systems. And as we're going to find out in the days ahead, a command economy emphasizes equity and security. A traditional economy emphasizes security and stability. A market economy emphasizes freedom and efficiency. Again, emphasizing the point that if you focus on 1 or 2 goals, you have trade-offs. You sacrifice some other goals. So we did an activity, and I've got the handouts online, in which students read a diary of an intern working for a congressman in D.C., and they are faced with developing public policy or laws. And as students read the diary, they are to determine which goals are given the highest priority by the legislator for whom they work, underline the passages that indicate those goals, and then discuss and support the choices. And if you read both of the diaries, you'll see that one diary is for emphasizes security and stability and equity, while the other intern is working for a congressperson who supports growth, efficiency, and economic freedom. And so you can see how different people have different priorities. For more practice with this, you can turn either of those pages over, and you can work with specific economic policies and identify the goals that would be prioritized or achieved and the trade-off. And I've got the answer for the first one here, and again, the answer key is on Schoology as well. So this would be more good practice. The homework is to complete the economic goals that I value handout, and again, I've put that on Schoology. If you'd like practice with any of the other concepts, the 3 economic questions or the economic goals, I've got some slides that follow that you can use to review and reinforce those concepts.